I'm working with complex fractions, it's good to identify where the main fraction bar is first, because a complex fraction is a fraction over a fraction, and you will always have a fraction bar separating them. Now on these, I have sums of rational numbers, which means you're adding fractions together. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and do my numerator and denominator separately and get them figured out. So on the top, I'm going to call this a 7 over 1, because you want everything to be a fraction, and I'm just dealing with this top part right here. Okay, minus 1 over 5w. So how I add and subtract fractions is I multiply the bottom. 1 times 5w is 5w. Cross multiply the top. So 7 times 5w is 35w. Then I have a minus sign and go the other direction. 1 times 1 is 1. So that's what that fraction is when I add those together. I'm going to do the same in the denominator. 2 over 1 plus 1 over 5w. So multiply the bottom. 1 times 5w is 5w. Cross multiply the top. 2 times 5w is 10w. Plus sign in the middle. 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, so that is my fraction, my numerator and denominator, separated by a fraction bar that they have. Okay, so now what you want to do is put the binomials in parentheses, and everything that's on the outside goes on the top. So I've got a family of 35w minus 1 and a 5w. Everything on the inside goes on the bottom. So I have a 5w and a family of 10w plus 1. Now I see if my binomials can simplify, and there are no greatest common factors. 35 minus w minus 1 doesn't simplify, and neither does 10w plus 1. So anything on the top that's the same as the bottom cancel each other out. So I've got a 5 on the top that cancels with a 5 on the bottom. W on the top cancels with w on the bottom. Whatever doesn't cancel is your final answer. So I have a 35w minus 1 that I couldn't factor anything out, and a 10w plus 1, again, I couldn't factor anything out of that. So that's my answer. Okay, I'm going to wish I'd give myself a little more room here, I think. Okay, so on the top, let's just go ahead and move this one over just a second. In the numerator, I have 5 over 1 plus 1 over u. So again, how I do this is multiply the bottom. 1 times u is u. Cross multiply the top. 5 times u is 5u. Plus in the middle. Go the other direction. 1 times 1 is 1. In the denominator, I have 1 over u minus 2 over 1. Multiply the bottom. U times 1 is just u. Cross multiply the top. 1 times 1 is 1. Minus in the middle. 2 times u is 2u. Make my fraction bar and put parentheses in the binomials. 5u plus 1 can't be simplified or factored, and 1 minus 2u cannot be factored. So I'm going to put everything on the outside. That goes on the top. So I have a family of 5u plus 1 and a u. The inside goes on the bottom, so I have a u and a family of 1 minus 2u. Families can't cancel because they're not the same thing. U on the top cancels with the u on the bottom, so my final answer is that family of 5u plus 1 and 1 minus 2u. And you don't want to do anything to split those up because you can't factor them. Okay, let me make this a little bit smaller. on the top, in the numerator I have 3 over 1 plus 7 over y. Multiply the bottom. 1 times y is y. Cross multiply the top. 3 times y is 3y. Plus in the middle. 7 times 1 is 7. That can't be factored. The denominator is 2 over 1 plus 7 over y. Multiply the bottom. 1 times y is y. Cross multiply the top. 2 times y is 2y. Plus in the middle. 7 times 1 is 7. That cannot be factored either. So make your, I need to see that it gets to be too many fraction bars so you can't see what you're doing. So I'll make it a different color. Okay, outside on the top. So 3y plus 7 and y. Inside on the bottom. So y and 2y plus 7. The y's cancel. The families are not the same thing, so they do not cancel. So you're going to just leave them alone. And you'll have your final answer.